Okay, I think we're live. Hey everyone, welcome to Victory Condition Gaming. My name is Doug, and This is our no, not our monthly Q&A, but it's actually a Q&A with someone that I'm always glad to have on the channel, and someone that currently has a very exciting Kickstarter on. I think it was launched yesterday. It is our friend Alan Bahr. Alan, thank you again for coming on and being part of this.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me, as always.
Okay, for folks that haven't tuned in or seen you before, or they're just tuning in for the first time, you want to tell folks a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Alan Bahr. I'm the associate producer and senior game designer at Nocturnal Media. I manage, first and foremost, the Tiny D6 line, which was brought over when Nocturnal Media bought out my company, Gallant Games, last year. And Tiny Wastelands is the first Tiny D6 game to be released under Nocturnal Media, so that's pretty exciting.
That's very cool. Very cool. But before you started Tiny did the Tiny D6, you've worked on a few other games, correct?
Yeah. So there's been Tiny Frontiers, Mechas and Monsters, the Bahr Mage role-playing game, Cold Shadows, Planet Mercenary. Yeah, there's been a few. Nice.
And it just keeps the resume just keeps growing and growing, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So if folks are interested in Tiny Wastelands, I did put a link in the description of this video, so please take a look at that. It is pretty close to funded. You still have another 29 days, pretty much, or 28 and a half to hit. I think just a few $100. So there won't be any issue with it being funded. How are you tracking compared to your previous projects?
So far, this is the best start we've had for a tiny project.
Nice.
So
that's very good.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's great. We did 5K in 24 hours. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's I think that goes to the fact that you did a very good job on the first couple projects for the Tiny D6, Tiny Frontiers, Tiny Mechas and Monsters. So you delivered early on both those projects.
Yep, sure did.
So I think that has a lot to do with it. Now, if you were going to describe the Tiny D6 system, you want to give folks a little bit of a rundown for that?
I'd love to. So Tiny D6 is billed as a minimalistic role-playing game. And what we mean by that is the idea was to strip out all the pieces that make complication exist inside RPGs. And so what we've done is we've really tried to boil down RPGs to the core elements. So the base mechanic is called a test. So to do something, you do a test. And when you do a test, you roll 6-sided dice. Generally, for a normal test with no big advantage or big disadvantage, you just roll 2. And if any dice shows a 5 or a 6, you're successful with the test.
Nice.
It's just that simple. If you have advantage, so some edge or an ability or something that gives you a leg up on the action, you get to roll 3 dice. And if you have a hindrance or something that would slow you down, make it harder significantly, you have disadvantage and you roll 1 dice. But either way, if any dice out of all the ones you roll shows a 5 or a 6, you're successful.
Nice. So it's really an easy system to pick up. I really like it because it's more story driven than it's not as crunchy as a lot of the RPGs that are out there. It's great for I think it's great for families that are looking to get their younger players into like an RPG, just because I think the fact that the system's a little bit easier to kind of.
Yeah, the rule set is definitely very approachable, especially in a learning sense. I don't want to sell it like it's a kid RPG.
No, and I'm not.
And to be fair, Tiny Wastelands is probably not the one I would start my kids on. Some of the content in there is a little more PG-13 than not.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm not. I'm not discrediting. Don't think that I was trying to. I'm just saying that, like, if you were thinking about a system for, it's a great product for. What's the word? What am I trying to say here? It's got a good weight to it, but it's not overhead. It's not really heavy. I guess is
definitely not.
So yeah, so it's. Let me just get. It's no. It's a really great system. I like the fact that it's accessible because it uses D6s. Everybody has D6s.
It's super easy. Everything's supposed to, like I said, minimalist. Right? The goal is to be right there and play. So,
who would you say your target demographic is? Is it pretty much heavy RPG players or beginning like I think you're like personally I think your system is good for all different types of RPG players.
Yeah, it's super flexible that way. We really focus on making a game that people can easily get into, right? And it's good for new RPG players in that there's not a lot of complication or crunchy math. You don't have to learn a giant subset of rules to do whatever.
That's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah. But it's also good for experienced role players because it strips the game down back to the basics of role playing, right? And there's a lot of games that do that. And I'm not making some grand claim like ours is the best or we're the only one you'll ever need. But it's definitely, I mean, the rules are only 25 to 30 pages. Like, it's not that complicated.
Because I'll tell you, one of the barriers to picking up a lot of RPGs is having to go through a huge book and just having to sit down and read through it. That there is a barrier to that.
No, it's totally true, and we try to get that out of the way with this particular project. Nice. And this rule set.
Absolutely. So what makes Tiny Wastelands unique compared to a lot of the post-apocalyptic role-playing games that are out there? Because there's quite a few out there now. There's I can think of 2 or 3 off the top of my head. What would you say yours does better than anybody else's?
Ooh, so
I'm coming at you with the hard questions this time, Alan.
That was a great question.
Look at that. I actually came prepared.
This is new for me.
I know, right?
Usually I just coast through these. It's like a bunch of softballs. So there's some really gorgeous post-apocalyptic RPGs out there, including ones like The Genesis, which if you haven't seen The Genesis, it's like the most beautiful role-playing game I've ever seen. Right. It's stellar. It's and then there's Apocalypse World, which is huge. You have Mutant Year Zero. There's great role-playing games out there for post-apocalyptic. What they all do is they deliver a super. You play The Genesis, you're getting that, right?
Right.
When you play Atomic Highway, it is a post-apocalyptic game focused on dudes who drive cars. It is that's what it does. Mutant Year Zero is very much in the vein of this is the apocalypse. This is. Tiny Wastelands, because it's so minimalist, we're able to flex the setting into tons of things. So what it really is, I think, is just more of an apocalyptic toolbox for just any possible setting. Okay. So some of the micro settings, we have the aftermath of alien invasions. We have Waterworld-esque settings. Not specifically Waterworld, because let's be but we have the 6-String Samurai, which if you haven't seen that, that's my favorite post-apocalyptic movie. So
I don't think I have seen that.
It's so bad. But it's so good.
Nice. Your volume keeps cutting in and out, Alan. I don't know what. Is
that a little
That's
better?
a little better. Yes. Oh no! It just died down a little bit. I'm gonna try to.
How about now?
Okay, that's better.
How are we doing?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
That's good. Yep.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you. Hang on a second. Right now, can you hear me?
That's a little low.
Now?
Okay, yep. Seems to be good.
Okay, well, I can't hear you still.
You can't hear me. That's not good. We did have we did come on ahead of time and test this all out. I'm not going to say that we didn't. So this is the joy of streaming live on the internet. Sometimes we do have technical issues, and I apologize, but we'll have Alan come right back here in just a second. If anybody has any questions for Alan, feel free to put them in the chat in the YouTube chat, and I will be glad to have Alan answer any questions that you might have.
Hey, can you hear me?
That's good.
I can hear you. All right. I guess I just had to leave and come back in. That was weird.
Okay. Hey, that works. Okay. So we were talking about what Tiny Wastelands does better than the other post-apocalyptic games that are out there right now. It's more of a framework for a whole bunch of genres of post-apocalyptic settings, rather than just specific settings that a lot of these games just kind of focus in on, which is good. Because sometimes you want to change it up.
Yeah, no, and we really wanted to focus on accessibility to tons of ideas, which has always been the hallmark of the Tiny setting.
Right.
So.
Very cool. Now, since it's set in the post-apocalyptic world, we're not dealing with fantasy archetypes. We're talking with post-apocalyptic archetypes. So what type? Can you list the archetypes for the characters and
let me pull
and how they're defined?
Yes, of course. Let me just grab that.
Excellent.
1 second here. I have to get my file. So all of this is always subject to change until we actually finally lock everything in.
Sure.
The full game's written, but names, titles, things like that sometimes change. So it's always, a thing. I just have to say. All right. So Tiny Wastelands. So so in the previous versions, games were races, right? You were a particular race.
Right.
And that defined your character, and then you had 3 traits. Here, we've removed races, and instead, you're what's called an archetype.
Okay.
And archetypes are the common broad tropes and genres you see out in the Wastelands after the apocalypse.
Sure.
So they function much like races. They come with a single special trait and a hit point.
Okay.
So we've got the normals, which are your run-of-the-mill average people. We have mutants. Mutants have some special abilities, specifically mutation traits.
Okay.
Everybody can take some mutation traits. Mutants get a lot more. Pretty cool. They're more powerful traits, but they come with a disadvantage.
Oh, okay.
So basically, they're better than a regular trait, but they have a drawback, unlike regular traits.
Sure.
Scavengers. Scavengers are really good at scavenging, specifically. I mean,
they're nice. Well, you would think so. Sure.
Right. And we actually, part of the thing we did for this game is we have a lot of scavenge tables.
Okay.
Right now we have so what they are is they're charts inside the book where you pick a location. So you're like, you guys are scavenging in the remains of an old grocery store. We have a table that says, department store or grocery store. And you can go and you roll a d6 and it tells you to roll on a column, and then you roll another d6 and it's like, all right, so I rolled a 1, so I go to column 1. I rolled a 3, I go to column 3. That's D3 pairs of underwear.
Okay. Yep. I've seen that happen. Okay. That's pretty neat.
So, but we really tried to drill in, and we have everything from like, there's one for grocery stores, one for like auto shops, colleges, sporting goods stores, whatever, to things like military bases, alien wrecks, undersea scavenging tables.
Nice.
So we're really trying to facilitate just a wide spectrum of possible options.
Okay.
And the scavenger gets advantage on that tables when he's looking for stuff, he can re-roll and things like that.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
We have a survivor,
and that's something new that none of the Tiny D6 books have had. They've never had tables before.
Nope, this is a brand new thing.
Nice.
They're pretty interesting. These will be so normally when we do the GM screens, we put a bunch of the rules and stuff. This time the GM screen will mostly be the scavenge tables.
Sweet. Okay, I like it.
I mean, Tiny D6 is pretty straightforward, so we decided this time let's focus on that.
Sure.
So we got that. We have survivors. Survivors are really good at finding shelter, getting help, things like that.
Okay.
They're the people who can go out into the waste and come back, maybe a little more, broken or haunted, but they come back.
Okay. So like kind of like a scout or something.
Kind of, yeah. Or the hermit who lives by himself out in the mountains or whatever.
Okay.
And then you have wanderers. Wanderers are the nomads of the Wastelands. We have crazies. They're they're what they describe. They're insane.
They're insane. Sure.
And then we have fixers, which are mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
They're good at. So items you find come with what we call temporarily we're calling it a usage rating. And every time you use something, at the end of when you use it, you roll a d6, and if the number on the d6 is equal to or higher than the usage rating, it goes down by 1.
Okay.
And if the usage rating ever reaches 0, the item's useless. You can't use it.
It's gone. Right. Okay.
So, but all items have that now. So before when you didn't have to track ammo and stuff, things like guns have that. So every time you fire your gun, you got to roll.
Okay. Yeah.
And so fixers can actually add usage rating back to things.
Nice. Okay.
It's one of the few ways they can. And then we have tyrants is the last one.
All right. That sounds really. I like it. I like it. And I think it got mentioned on the Kickstarter page, but you can also have pets in this game.
Yeah. So we have a bestiary, as always, and we've included things like dogs and animals you might find in the Wastelands that you can befriend. And there is a new trait that lets you start with a animal.
Nice. Well, that sounds very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. The guy wandering the Wastelands with his dog is kind of a trope, so you got to make sure you have that.
Absolutely, you gotta have that. Gotta have that
for sure.
Now you've also mentioned that in this game there's also vehicles. There's a vehicle mechanic, or something, in this.
Yeah.
In this...
So all the tiny games have had some sort of vehicle mechanic, but they've all been different. Between starships and then the mechas, which was the focus of Mecha and Monsters.
Sure.
And then so this one has vehicles. And vehicles function sort of like a mix between starships and mechs.
Okay.
So you have different chassis of vehicles, right? Everything from motorcycle to the BFV, which stands for a big freaking vehicle.
Right.
Had to make sure I edited myself when I said that one.
I appreciate that. Keeping it family friendly.
Yep. So and they function a lot like archetypes. So they'll say this vehicle has X amount of structure, which is vehicle hit points. And then you can put up to, X modifications on it.
Okay. And
we have a list of modifications, which function like traits for vehicles. So you can totally customize and trick out a unique vehicle.
Very cool. So you could
for your character. So
you could do almost like a Mad Max Fury Road kind of RPG if you wanted to with tiny Wastelands.
Yeah, no, you can do everything from the Road Warrior to, the Postman, everything like that. So
nice. The Postman, I haven't watched that in so long. Alan, you're gonna get me started on movies now. You know that, right?
Well, yeah.
It wouldn't be a Q&A if we didn't talk about movies for a little while.
It's true.
But I'm not gonna give in. I'm not gonna give in.
Hey, we have your list of questions, so
yeah, we do. I have notes this time, so
we don't want to waste those notes.
That's right. So when you were designing Tiny Wastelands, you're still kind of in the process of designing, but you've said you've got it mostly finished. What's one thing that you had to scrap that you wish you could have saved? What's one thing that
So I wrote these super awesome settlement rules.
Okay.
That involved running a settlement, gathering, and it had this whole mechanic around scrap dice, and you could use scrap dice to upgrade places in your settlement, really a city building, and they were 40 pages. I was like, I can't just and they weren't super they were still minimalist, but they weren't really that minimalist at that point, right?
Right.
As much as I'd like to say they were, I was like, these, I really want these, but they gotta go.
Because that's one thing that I really like about Mutant Year Zero is that's part of your settlement is part of your game. So that's
yeah, and I love that. I mean, I love Pendragon, which every player has a land they manage Pendragon. I love RPGs that have the metagame.
Right.
outside of just the character. Like you're dealing with something bigger than you, be it like a clan, a family, territory, whatever. I love that. That's my favorite thing in RPGs. So I was like, I'm going to put that in here. And I got done and I'm like, I can't do that. So maybe we'll make it like a PDF download or
there you go.
Make it a stretch goal or something, right? But
sure.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that was the thing I was super sad to lose.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's got to be tough, like designing games, and because you probably have all these ideas, and I know sometimes you just can't get a certain mechanic to work, and you have to kind of leave something out to make the rest of it work. I knew that there probably was something that you had to kind of just omit and say, okay, no, I can't do this.
Yeah, the only game that doesn't have that is Mechas and Monsters, I think, of mine.
Really?
I actually got everything I wanted into that game.
Nice.
But, to be fair, giant robots punching giant monsters is a pretty niche target anyway, so it wasn't hard to cram it all in there.
Absolutely. Those guys still, my buddies that play HeroClix, they really love the Mechas and Monsters, and I tell you, they keep on. They're like, we got to get together and play another session of that because they just have a blast with that. So they're really excited about Tiny Wastelands.
Oh yeah, well, me too.
So with with Tiny Wastelands, there's not a campaign. There's no campaign. You do micro settings, which is kind of what your books are known for. Right now, if the book funds, there's 4 micro settings that will be released with the book. Do you want to talk a little about those micro settings and the authors behind them and everything?
Sure. So, I mean, I don't want to give too much because we are spoiling these on the Kickstarter as they come up. So,
okay. Don't go into too much detail, but feel free to give your authors a shout out at least.
For sure. So the first 4 are all of them have worked with me before. 2 of them are new to the Tiny line.
Okay.
Those 2 worked on Cold Shadows with me, but they haven't done Tiny product before. So Steve Diamond, who's been on every project so far for the Tiny line.
Nice.
He's got a micro setting called Salvage. It's about the aftermath of an alien invasion where they just up and think Independence Day, but in the middle of it, they just leave and we don't know why.
Okay.
So the premise is aliens left and there's like just wreckage everywhere.
Nice.
And we're picking up the pieces. And then we have a Gwendolyn Rachel. I apologize, Wendy. I probably said that wrong. I'm so sorry. She's doing Deepwater Titan, which is you're a band of survivors on a drilling platform after the apocalypse.
Okay. Yep. I saw the write-up for that. That was
that was one we previewed today. And Wendy's fantastic. She worked on Cold Shadows. This is her first Tiny project.
Nice.
But she's a great writer, and she also runs some great RPG charities out in Denver. So
very cool. Good.
Check
That's
that
awesome.
out. Yeah. And then we have Toby Abad.
Yep, he was on Cold Shadows too, I think.
He was on Cold Shadows. Yep. Toby's one of the best RPG writers in the business, in my opinion. He's fantastic. Nice. And not disparaging all these other writers. Everybody who was working with us on here is fantastic, and I love him.
Right.
But every time I get something from Toby, it blows my mind. He's just got insane amounts of talent, and he's just starting out with this.
That's very cool.
And he's doing one where you play a mutated beast. Think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the apocalypse.
Nice. Okay, I can get behind that.
And then we have Marie Brennan, who has done stuff for us before on both the previous Tiny books. She's a professional published author, actually, and she's fantastic. She did my favorite Mechas and Monsters setting, which was the high school robotics club versus the high school biology club.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yep. And she's hers is currently untitled, and we're not spoiling it right now.
Okay.
But she's on the project. So
very good.
So those are the 4 you get when we fund, and then immediately 500 later we get another one.
Okay.
And we'll start previewing those as we get closer to them.
Now I had Liz on a couple. Liz, and I know I'm going to say her last name wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. Practical from Angry Hamster Publishing, and she's lined up for a stretch goal micro setting. Can we kind of because we got to get Liz on this book as well.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to? Can you tell us when her micro setting is scheduled to hit the stretch goals? Because I'm shooting for that one, to be honest with you.
Sure. So Liz is going to be on at 9,500, so 9,500.
Nice. So everybody, y'all get Liz on here. Not that she's not busy, because she's busy enough as it is. I mean, she's a very, very talented and busy woman as well.
Yeah, no, she's busy. I'm really happy she had the time to work with us again. So
absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the pledges.
Yeah, sure.
What's the cheapest, the most inexpensive way folks can get on to Tiny Wastelands?
So $12 gets you the PDF and all digital goals. It's that simple.
That's awesome. That's what the cost of, what do we spend, like a movie ticket, pretty much.
Well, you go to expensive movies. That's like 2 movie tickets out here in Utah.
What? We just went to Wonder Woman. It was like $11.75. In fact, that's why I couldn't work on my notes last night, because we had to go to Wonder Woman again. I've seen it twice now, Alan.
I've only seen it once.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was really good.
Good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I think it
cost us $14 for all of us plus popcorn and drinks.
What? Get out of here!
Sorry.
No, it did not. Not $14 for all of you and drinks.
Hold up. Well, we go enough that we have the refillable cups and bucket for popcorn, so it's like $1 for popcorn.
You have a refillable bucket and cup thing?
Yeah, they don't do that where you are?
What? No.
Oh yeah, so our local chain. This is totally off tangent. Sorry, everybody who's watching.
Yeah. Everybody that wanted to come on and talk about Tiny Wastelands, we're derailing this chat room.
Yeah, so you can, like, once a year you can buy for like $20 a bucket, and then it's $1 to fill it up every time. And it's like this big bucket, and then they have cups, like those big travel cups. You can do that too.
Yeah.
But those you can.
Our like local gas station has they do that every year, where you can buy like a mug and you can go in there and fill up for 50 cents or something every time.
They do the mugs, but the mugs are for lifetime.
What?
So like you buy the mugs for like $10 and they last forever. You buy the popcorn bucket, that lasts for a year. And so
and like your tickets are what, like $5 a piece?
Like 6, yeah.
Is it 3D? If you tell me it's 3D, I'm shutting this off right now.
We don't ever see 3D.
Oh, okay.
No.
Wow, I can't believe that.
So.
Wow, I can't. East Coast problems, I guess. That's the joys of living on the East Coast is much more. It's much more expensive. Anyway, the least expensive way to get out of Tiny Wastelands, $12. Which evidently costs Alan the same amount to take his friends and wife out to the movies.
Well, just my wife.
Oh.
Like, let's not go crazy.
Oh, okay. For me, it'd just be like getting me through the door at the movie theater, but that's okay. So
PDF
$12. What's the next level for?
So next is the Trusty Survivor. That's the $25 level.
Right.
And this is the thing we do on all our Kickstarters. This is kind of the everything package, right? So you get the book, you get the dice, and you get the GM screen plus any stretch goals.
Okay.
And it's all in one package, and that's it. There's no muss, no fuss. It's pretty great. Okay. And then the next one, and again, like the minimalist game, we only have minimal amounts of pledge levels.
That's good. I think that's commendable, because of the fact that I think a lot of these Kickstarters put too much effort into add-ons and pledge levels and everything, and it just becomes a lot of headache for them on the back end.
Yeah, it's true. And honestly, it's a lot of work. So keeping it focusable and not, getting a cart ahead of the horse, totally worth it.
Absolutely.
So we have the Deluxe, which it comes with the hardcover, which is a limited edition faux leather hardcover. You get the custom handmade storage bag, which is actually, hang on, I have it right here.
Okay. And if people haven't seen these handbags, like, they are really, really nice. Like, I have mine from Mechas and Monsters, and I'm assuming it's the same.
Oh yeah, same kind of material, same stitching.
And they're made by hand too, right? Is that
every single one made by hand?
That's awesome.
Yep. And so you get that, and it'll hold your book, your dice, your GM screen, and then you get an extra soft cover regular core book, so you don't have to ruin your nice one at the table.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that about your pledges, by the way. Like, that, as soon as I see that pledge, like, I get a hardcover and a soft cover, like, that is like, boom, that's me right there.
I always try to buy my RPG books in doubles, so I have a table copy and like a
Yep.
don't ruin it copy.
See, I'm glad that I'm not the only one that does that, because like I sometimes I think that I'm just insane for doing that, but I guess not.
Nope. So hang on. I think the puppy needs to go outside.
Uh-oh.
There you go. All right, she's outside.
Nice.
Yeah, so those are the 3 pledge levels. That's it.
Easy as that. And then people can add on more dice and more, and they're really affordable. You can bet like 3 dice for $2 or something like that.
It's like $6, yeah.
Yeah. And then the GM screens is like another $3 if they want more copies of that.
Yep. The thing we're doing that we haven't done is we have add-ons of Tiny Frontiers and Mechas and Monsters.
That's right.
And that's new to this Kickstarter because we're doing a brand new print run because they went out of print. So now we have to do another print run, which is great, right? That's great news.
Absolutely. That's really awesome.
So but the price you get them for is the best you're ever going to see. I don't think we'll ever sell them this cheap again.
Cool.
The PDFs are $5 each, and then the print and PDF is $10. So for 20 extra bucks, you can get 2 extra books, which will be 300 pages of RPGs plus the PDFs.
Nice. And the only way you can get the hardcover is if you back on a Kickstarter. Is that correct?
Yeah, the hardcovers and the bags are not the only way you can get one easily. Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes for charity, we'll auction, like we auctioned off some Tiny Frontiers ones for charity.
Okay.
Or we'll run a contest. But yeah, generally speaking, we never sell them after the Kickstarter.
Nice.
They are usually the ones. They're exclusive to the Kickstarter, but we always have to make extras.
Right.
In case something gets ruined in transit or shipping. So then the extras we use for charity or other events.
Nice. Okay.
And I keep a couple for myself.
Absolutely. Well, that makes sense. So that's Tiny Wastelands. It's the new genre of Tiny D6.
Heck yeah.
We want to talk about the future for Tiny D6. Now, I know that you've come on. You've talked about Tiny Supers. You've talked about Tiny Dungeon 2.0.
Yep.
What do you got planned? What are we going to see from you?
So, and as always, disclaimer: subject to change. Generally speaking, the next 3 in the docket are Tiny Dungeon 2.0, Tiny Supers, and Tiny Dystopias in some varying order.
Okay.
They seem to bounce around depending on the whims of the schedule.
Sure.
But yeah, so some form of those will be the next ones. After that, I've got a lot. We've written Tiny Monsters. I shouldn't say done writing Tiny Monsters. Tiny Monsters is being written. We've got Tiny Western. We've got 2 more Tiny Frontiers books I wrote. There's tons of product.
Nice. So, okay. Very cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of Tiny D6 still coming. And then when it's all done and there's 20-something books, we'll do a giant box set collector's edition.
Colossal collector's edition. That would be
that would actually be super cool.
That would be very, very cool.
I'm being sarcastic, but I would totally pay money for that.
Absolutely. Now you'd have to get a really giant bag for that collection, though.
Oh, it'd have to come in a wooden chest or something, right? You open it up and there's all the books laid out, like a storage thing for the dice on the top. Whatever, I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, you planning on doing dice for every single Kickstarter?
Yeah. At this point, there's sort of this divide where I'm not sure for the next. And every time we launch a new genre,
yep.
We'll definitely do dice, right? So for Tiny Western, there'll be new dice. For Tiny Supers, new dice. I'm not sure, the 3rd and 4th Tiny Frontiers book need new dice and a bag and stuff, right?
Right.
So, but those are going to be after we get all the genre core books out. So we'll see where we are at that. It would be sad not to do the bag and the dice because then they will look weird on your shelf next to all your bags.
That's true.
But there's also, you might not want more dice in a bag. So that's one of those things we haven't really got there yet.
Sure. Well, you can always address it once it comes up.
Exactly.
So you've got a couple other projects that you've already put out. You want to talk a little bit about while you're on here, and we got a few more minutes to go.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the production or how far you are on the previous Kickstarters that you've.
Sure.
Because this is what, how many Kickstarters for you now? This is what, 1 through.
This is
4? 5th. Okay.
So Cold Shadows, and disclaimer, I wouldn't launch another Kickstarter unless the other ones were at a place where the timeline won't be impacted. I don't believe in jeopardizing a previous project for a new project. So Cold Shadows is in editing. It's all written. It's all done. We have all the words, minus the PDF stretch goals that are being written when the game's like finished and locked and the rules are done, right? Like some of it we have to wait till the rules are 100% done before we can like write a bunch of enemies or whatever.
Right.
But the rules are in editing. I just got the file back this week from the editor, so I've been going over it. Rule book will be going to layout. The Cities and Shadow book is all in. That'll be going to layout. And that's edited and done, so that'll be going to layout. And then once the layout started on those, we'll knock out the black book. Pretty easy. And then the stretch goals, and we're done. Like it's moving along. We should be on time. Like nothing's come up that will stop us from being on time at this point.
Very cool. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Moods of the Mad King, which just funded last week.
Just funded, just barely.
Yeah, that's going to the printer. We're done.
You're all set. You're just gonna print it, and do you have any kind of ETA as to when? I don't know who. Can you say who you're having printed? Is it just a local printer, or is it somebody online?
We have a printer we use that's over in Hong Kong.
Okay, I didn't know. There's a couple places online that you can do.
Nope. It'll go to Hong Kong. It'll take 3 months to print and cut and ship over and package and all that, right? So
right.
It'll be 90 days to 120 days before anything starts shipping at the earliest.
Nice.
But yeah, it's done. We're the only thing we're waiting on is we added the expansion as a stretch goal, and we added it early, and so we have to get the art for that because we had all the art done. But the artist and I have been talking about that, so that'll be done, and it'll go to print at the same time. It shouldn't be much of an issue.
Very cool.
So
very cool.
Yeah, we're on track to hit all our delivery dates on all our projects. It's pretty exciting.
That's very exciting. That's what I really dig about you is that you do a great job of what's the word I'm looking for? It's you do a good job of forecasting anything that might come up, and you make sure that you accommodate for that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, there will be a day where I will have to say I'm going to be late.
What?
The world will get me, right? and I have no illusions, and I'm dreading that day. But to be fair, once it happens, it'll be like, okay, it's happened, so
right.
Great.
Right.
A perfect record never remains perfect unless you're the Miami Dolphins.
This is true.
So
absolutely.
Forget those guys. So
yeah, that's. Yeah. All right. So where you want to talk about? You want to tell folks where you're going to be, what you have in the works for? You're going to be at Gen Con.
Yep, we'll be at Gen Con. You can find me at the Nocturnal Media booth or at the Hypernode Media booth. Planet Mercenary, a game I wrote previously to Nocturnal Media, will be coming out at Gen Con this year. So I will be doing that.
Very cool.
So I'll be splitting my time between both booths. And then you'll also find me just wandering around, spending way too much money or playing games.
Now, is there something you're really excited about at Gen Con?
L5R LCG.
Nice.
The new L5R LCG. I played L5R for 17 years, 18 years in the previous iteration. So when they sold it and said it's going away for 2 years while we make the LCG, it broke my heart a little bit.
No.
But it's coming back. This is the year it comes back at Gen Con. And I've already got my ticket. I'm getting my boxes. Like L5R, I am so excited.
Very cool.
So
very cool.
That and the new Star Trek RPG are my two big ones.
I was gonna say I think I saw a little bit of a Star Trek nod there earlier today on my Facebook feed. Now that I think Modifius just barely put pre-orders out on their website for it, but you're saying that you can pick up copies at Gen Con?
Their web store. Sorry, my puppy is. I don't know what she's doing. She's laying on the floor and she's like upside down, stretching, whatever. Yeah, so they're gonna have. They said it'll be on sale at Gen Con. So that's
exciting. Good stuff.
I'm gonna try to get it.
How big are you gonna go? They have like this huge like board cube edition. It's like 300 or 400 something bucks.
The $510 board cube set.
Yeah. You gonna go that far, Alan, or? I guess it depends on how much we fund tiny ways.
also depends how much I want to risk the wrath of the wife.
I think they should.
Do I want that board cube? Yes. Should we put a stretch goal in there?
Yeah.
And Alan buys the board cube.
Absolutely.
Fund my board cube purchase. Thank you.
But then you have to have like a live stream session of it. I think that's
like a unboxing, and then I'll run it and be like,
absolutely.
I'll run Star Trek in the heartbeat. I love Star Trek is my science fiction. That is my place.
Oh, Alan.
I'm sorry, it's not Star Wars.
Okay.
It's not even Doctor Who. It is. I love all those things. They're great. I have every edition of the Star Wars RPG. I love it.
Nice.
But man, Star Trek.
Star Trek is.
Yes.
But I think to be honest with you, I think Star Trek is more in that role play genre. To be honest with you, because it's about exploring and it's about it's not. I think that's why you see Fantasy Flight make different books for different aspects of the Star Wars universe, is because it's hard to kind of fit that all together. You know?
Yeah, you kind of have to. There's a big thing. And I mean, Star Trek's huge too.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, Star Wars is a different beast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the optimistic, inclusive take on Star Trek.
Okay.
It's a universe where, yeah, bad things happen, but everybody's generally out there trying to be a good person most of the time.
Sure.
At least the protagonists are. And I don't know, I just love Star Trek. It's my jam. When I wrote Tiny Frontiers, I was thinking Star Trek the whole way.
Hey.
This is so.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, we what is it? My daughter, what did she think? We were watching when we were at Wonder Woman last night again. The new Star Wars trailer came out, and she's like, what did she think it was? I think she thought it was the new Harry Potter, or a new Harry Potter movie or something. I'm like, no, kid, you should know better than this. This is a Star Wars trailer. Don't be talking about Harry Potter. That's not. Only my daughter would think that was a Harry Potter. I would think it was a Harry Potter.
You know what though? At least she loves something enough that she's excited like that.
Yeah, no, and once she found out it was Star Wars, she was excited. But she's like, "Wow, Harry Potter!" I'm like, "No, kid, you know better than this."
You should show her the new Star Trek trailer, then she'll get more excited because it's better.
There's not a new Star Trek movie coming out yet, is there?
There's a new TV show.
Oh yeah. Have you seen it? Have you seen the trailer for it?
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've seen the trailer for that yet.
I'm so excited.
But that's only going to be on this CBS On Demand, or All Access or something, right?
I don't know, but we've derailed so hard again.
I know. We always do.
We're the worst.
Hey, you know what? It's all right.
It's all good.
But yeah, I think it's on the All Access. I think you have to sign up for a subscription service to watch that.
Yeah, it's. I'm not sure what the deal is.
Oh well. Well, you'll have to. Oh, look, there's Toby.
Yep, Toby said hi.
Let's see here. Woohoo!
That's
too bad. Yeah. Too bad we can't get. So I know I've said this a couple times to you before, but we should really kind of plan these out and have some of your authors come on, and so it's not just you and me, because as much as I like talking with you.
Oh yeah, I totally get it.
Maybe they would keep us from going off the rails like we do, every so often.
I'd like to think so, but I don't know. They'd
probably just join in. Yeah, they'd probably just join in.
Well, we should. Poor Gedji.
This is a very interesting conversation. Nice. I like this guy.
Yeah, I'll reach out. We'll see if we can get somebody on before the end of the. Maybe near the end after we've unlocked some stretch goals. We'll see who we can get on.
Okay, that sounds good.
Get some of the writers in here and get them involved talking.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be awesome, because I know that you're the main, you're the main hub of the wheel, but all the other spokes need to kind of get some recognition too. I think because they're
they're fantastic.
They're kind of they do just some great work, and I love the books that I have and the micro settings in those, and I think that they need to have a little more spotlight too.
Heck yeah, we can set that up.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I guess that's probably going to do it. We're actually under 45 minutes now.
That was
a first.
It's probably because you had questions in advance.
It's probably because of that. and yeah, that helps definitely. So yeah, I want to thank. Where can folks find you online?
Yeah.
Alan?
So obviously, Tiny Wastelands is on Kickstarter.
Right.
You can check out what we're doing at nocturnal-media.com.
Okay.
Or you can find me on Twitter at Alan Bahr or alanbar.net.
Very good.
Those are the places I talk about stuff. So
that's good. We like listening to you talk about stuff.
That's good.
Let's see here. If anybody would like to subscribe to our channel, we would appreciate that as well. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. I am at Doug VC Gaming, and yeah, I guess that's gonna do it for us for tonight. I want to thank Alan again for coming on, and if you had any, Toby says spotlight for spokes.
I'm glad. We'll get you a spotlight, Toby. Don't worry.
We need to get Toby on here. Let's make that happen.
You got it.
So, all right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you're watching this, please give it a thumbs up down below. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and we'll see you on the next video. And we've got some other RPG content on the way, so please stay tuned for that. I'm really excited. We might even be able to do a Tiny Wastelands RPG session with Alan later on this month, so please stay tuned for that as well. All right, folks, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.
See you later.